So, it's a very nice basement we have here. This is a walkout basement, so we've got a finished space here. So, what I concentrate on is I essentially start to go for doors and windows. Now, this is where the infrared camera really comes into its use. If you look right here, so I've just walked up, and if you can look in here, you see this dark area right here? That basically is showing where you've got drafts. So this dark purple color, and that is showing, I've got a nice little temperature range here, and that's showing around 43 degrees. So, so we've got some cold air down there. This is typical for, for doors and windows. So yeah, it's a little cold down there. But overall, I mean, this is a new slider. This is, it's not that bad, so.
Is some of that to be expected?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's probably no way to make it perfect.
No, this is pretty much out of the factory. I mean, so it's other than putting plastic over the entire door, for the wintertime, which people generally don't like to close off a major entrance. They do that. Down on the baseboard, I can see like a little bit of cold air down here if you look down there. But things like that, I mean, you can do some caulking, that can help, and it's the kind of thing where, if you put your hands there, you might be able to feel a little bit. I'm not even sure. That's a very minor amount. Here I'm also I look at outlet covers, and right here we have a duplex electrical outlet, with a little bit of cold air that's seeping through there. And you can feel it right there. There's little gaskets that we could put on to help control that. And again, this is another corner. It's the coldest, but it's not all that bad. Not much you can really do at this point. So again, looking at going around the room. All right, so we're down in the utility cellar at this time. And Mary's already had some work done, and the whole entire rim joist here has received spray foam, which is great. I mean, the joint between the sill and the foundation, and all this area, this board essentially is a rim joist that goes around, has all been sealed up. Wires that are going up into the walls above, they're sealed as well. The only place we found was just right here. This one pipe going up is really showing some air infiltration right there. It shows up really dark, and then I'm going over to this heating system, and then actually I can feel the air coming in.
Yeah.
So when we were standing upstairs in the living room, and we could feel that cold air coming in around the door, this most likely is the source of it right here. So, and this is basically a propane water heater and space heater, and where it goes through the foundation, above the foundation, needs to be sealed up. In fact, I can even see daylight. So that needs a little bit of sealing on it. Again, that's pretty minor, but that's probably the primary source of the infiltration that's happening in this.
Yeah, and our
basement.
system went down in December, and we had, we were lucky enough to get it switched out, but we haven't had it, the resealing done.
Yeah.
So it looks like we really need to. You really pointed out not to forget about those types of things when you have a new unit put in.
Exactly. And there's some special spray foams that we can use that the homeowner can do that just take care of that. So easy fix, both of these things. So we're doing okay.
So I could do it myself.
Even you could do it.
No. Hey.
So this takes care of this lower level.
Okay.
How about if we take off and do the main floor, and we're going to go like from room to room, window, door, all the openings, and we'll just go in a clockwise manner for whatever.
Great.
And and we'll grab a clipboard. So because I'd like you to take some notes, so we'll mark this in terms of the basement. Then if we can go to room, and then we can make our notations and so forth.
So I know what to do after the fact,
exactly.
right? Because this is something that I can do myself.
Definitely.
That's really small.
Right.
Great.
So
sounds great, Doug.
Okay, good. So we're looking at this the sitting area over here, and ceiling looks pretty good. The only thing that's jumping out, I mean, I don't see rafters. I see the faint outline of them. However, with the ceiling fan right here, I see a very cold spot right there. And yeah, And if you can see how it's temperature drops around there. So we've got some cold air infiltration right there. And then we have some recessed lights here in the ceiling. And we definitely have some cold air infiltration around here. This is pretty typical for recessed lights.
And these are the original recessed
Yeah.
lights from 1997.
Yeah.
So.
And they really chill down even in fact, look at the cold air effect on that one right there.
Now, I know that some recessed lights don't allow you to put the fiberglass insulation around them. So what
Right.
can people do if they want to try to
Yeah.
keep them warm and not so leaky?
Yeah. So this is a challenge because this is a these this is a cathedral ceiling, so these boxes are essentially, you can't get on the back side of them. So, I would look for some LED conversion kits that have a better seal around them to try to seal from this side. They're kind of limited on what you can do. If that's been a flat ceiling with insulation on top, now they do have special fireproof caps that go right down on top of those entire assemblies.
So if you had an attic where you could get up in them,
Yeah.
you could actually put
Right.
those caps on
Right,
them and
right.
seal them up real
Right,
nicely.
exactly. They're fireproof. You use a fire stop type of spray foam, the orange stuff, and seal them right up, and that would stop. Because those little recessed lights are like a little thermal chimney too. They kind of heat up that area, and they actually create their own little miniature stack effect. They suck air
Yeah.
out, so
Because they get warm.
they get warm.
Yeah.
So they create up a little thermal current. So
Now, maybe thinking about this, LEDs don't get as warm. So would that be a little less of a thermal chimney?
that's compared to an incandescent. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we're coming into the kitchen, Doug, and we have some more of those cans that are problematic, right?
Right.
And that are going to be tough to fix. So maybe I need to get those LED inserts. But do you see anything else that looks really problematic?
Well, everything here was showing a pretty consistent temperature in terms of ceilings, but then this is quite interesting. When we get right over to this area over your cook stove, this entire cabinet is just really, really cold. In fact, it's chilling the whole wall section right here. So you've got a vent there, Mary. Why don't you check out what's going on here? Because this is
because this is letting people know this is a brand new vent that was put in. I used to have, and you can kind of see that it's not even finished yet. It used to be a microwave that fit in here, and so they had to totally revent this. So they've gone ahead and put in a whole new exhaust. And when I open this up, oh my goodness, I haven't opened it up, but I can just feel the wind again coming in just like I could when we were going down into the basement. So this really needs some sealing. Another place where I had some work done and I haven't, it's not totally finished, and I have to make sure that
so let's make a note of that. We're going to seal up the panel and that exhaust pipe right there. It's really chilling down.
So here we are in my small office, and it's looking really cold up by the by where the ceiling hits the wall.
Yeah. So typically, most of your walls have been in the 60-degree range, and this is an interior wall, but still, we've got something going on here. So we've got some really cold interior wall sections. I'm well below 50. In fact, this cold is just sinking right down into the stud cavities, all the way down to the light switch and so forth, and it's showing up here.
Yeah, so it's actually, you can, and I didn't realize, but you can touch it and feel, I can feel the air now coming from underneath this controller box for my heater. If I had that little stick again, you could see, I mean, it is like blowing wind. It's like going out into a windstorm under here.
Yeah. So we definitely have something to address here. Maybe we can look at. So this
Yeah,
is
because my bathroom's on the other side.
Right,
That's
right.
a little scary when
Right,
I have this
right.
coming on and the bathroom's on the other side. Yeah.
Yes, we've got major.
Yes, there's a roof section over
Okay.
this area.
Okay. Because I'm seeing a lot of cold air. I get some very, very cold wall sections right here.
Yeah, and that makes sense because I knew that this part of the house doesn't have a second level. So this really, our attic is right above these two rooms.
Okay. So we'll definitely have some attention that's going to be needed in the attic area,
Okay.
because these interior walls should not be chilled down to this degree.
And what temperature are they at?
Well, I am reading 45 degrees
Oh,
on these wall surfaces, and we should be in the 60-degree range easily. So, but again, we're just showing some really cold air spots in these corners. In fact, the cold is really penetrating down into these empty stud cavities of these walls. So these walls are chilled down considerably. So, and when you walk by them, I mean, this is going to be chilling. Your body heat's going to be essentially leaving. It's like sitting next to a cold window.
I know, but
you know.
but you know what, Doug? I thought things were so much better because I just got these cellular blinds, and this room actually used to be colder.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to sit by that window, and it was unbearable.
Yeah.
And I got those cellular blinds, and they made a big difference. But
That's excellent.
but now that you have this blower on, and I can feel it, it's unbelievable. You just never
Right.
go around and touch your walls.
That's right.
You
That's
never
right.
say, "Oh, gee, it's cold."
Yeah.
So this is really fantastic.
And this is case in point, because this shows you that every house has got something going on, and oftentimes there's a story that's taking place that you would just never suspect. So,
Yeah, because who would think that the attic is so drafty? So maybe we want to go up to the second floor too and see if that attic has a problem, because we haven't done anything there either.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
let's go.
All right. So right here, we can see a lot of cold air coming in around the side, and these, in fact, it's making its way right down in these insulated exterior wall bays here, and really cold around that thermostat control. So, I see a lot of cold air underneath of the base of the heating unit here on the wall. That's your heat pump.
Yeah, so that's not very good if my heat pump is letting in cold air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this is a cathedral ceiling, and I'm seeing a lot of cold air. This is typical of framing right here. So I can see the corner. I can see cold air making its way down into. So we've got a real weak area right here. So again, in terms of how this was sealed up. So all these things kind of make for a cold room. Again, this is another corner right here. You can see the studs. So this is areas where insulation wasn't done as tight as it should have been. But then again, stick framing like this is typical, corners or weak spots. I see this a lot. But I am seeing a lot of cold areas on this. In fact, I could tell that it's how it's framed, because I can see all the framing members, and I can see cold spots like various around. You get a couple of areas that are definitely on the cold side. Like right up here.
Oh,
That's another cold spot. And in that corner right there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and now we're getting closer and closer to the attic, because there is another attic here, as we know.
Now
You could feel it.
I can feel a lot of draft around this. Just standing here, I can feel
Yeah.
the cold air coming down onto me. So I'm not sure what there is for insulation, but again, when you look at it through here, you can just see all the cold air bleeding around that. So this is a major source of cold air infiltration. So I'll take a little photo of it. But,
Yeah, I really think that there's not a whole lot of insulation
Yeah,
up there
yeah.
because we were told that. So,
And it makes sense because it's really chilling these walls. I mean, so air is penetrating. In fact, even just right here, if you look. So this is telling me with all these interior walls, as cold as they are, we should not be seeing these type of temperature ranges here. They should be in the 60-degree range. But again, the top of these walls are in the 45 to 50-degree range. So
there's
that tells me
trouble
that,
in my closet.
yeah, it tells me that there's a lot of serious air sealing needs to be done on top of this attic ceiling here. So it might have 10 inches of fiberglass, but it's pulling cold air right down into these stud cavities. So you're getting quite a chilling effect from doing that.
So would you seal up with like a spray foam or?
Yeah.
Hard to tell?
No, generally what we do a lot is if we get into a house where there's just fiberglass insulation, fiberglass for the most part is a fancy air filter. I mean, it just doesn't do much for air sealing whatsoever. But oftentimes we'll take that material out and then we would essentially put down 1 or 2 inches of spray foam insulation on top of the entire ceiling, seal on top of these stud plates and everything else like that, so we don't get the cold air penetration down into the interior of these walls. And then I would recommend generally 12 to 14 inches of blown-in cellulose on top of that. So get the ceiling up to like R50, 60 or something like that. And but the most important thing is it's sealed.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because the bad thing about the blown insulation or any type of insulation is you don't want motion through the air that's trapped
That's right.
in the insulation.
Right. So,
yeah, and if you have that
Right.
updraft going on, then the
Right.
insulation can't work.
That's right. If you have an R19 bed of fiberglass versus R19 and cellulose with spray foam, the spray foam and the air sealing and the cellulose combined will totally outperform the numerical value of that, of what the insulation type. So air sealing is key. I mean, air sealing makes your insulation work the way it should.
Well, thanks, Doug, for walking around the house and really looking at where there are really cold spots and there might need to be some work done. And I was just wondering if you could just take a quick rundown of what you thought were, the most egregious places that you saw.
Sure. So, just to recap, so this is a fairly new home, 1997. We didn't see any real issues with your doors and windows other than maybe adjusting a couple of strike plates on your doors. That's pretty easy. In terms of the main floor here, we noticed some cold air infiltration on your recessed lights. And it's cathedral ceiling, so that presents a little bit of a challenge in terms of how to seal those up properly. Comparing to lights that you would have on a flat ceiling that are accessible from an attic area, they can be dealt with a little bit differently. We found one cold air spot over your hood vent that definitely needs to be addressed, so we need to close that up for you. Down in the basement, we found the same type of thing. We had a pipe that needs to be sealed up for your on-demand hot water heater. I didn't mention much about the heating equipment because you all have pretty much state-of-the-art heating equipment. You've got heat pumps, an on-demand hot water heater, a recovery ventilator. So you've got some good equipment in this house. So the lower level, the main floor, looked pretty good overall. On the other hand, by the time we did get up into the upper level, we did see a lot of cold interior walls that really is a reflection of you need some attention up in the attic area. So we should, those interior walls should be a nice uniform color. I mean, if it's 65 in the house air temperature, those walls should be roughly about the same temperature, but they were like 15 degrees colder, and you could just see the cold bleeding down in through the tops, all the way down into the light switches and so forth. So we definitely need to get up there next time, take a look, find out what's not going on. And I suspect we have maybe just fiberglass that's just been kind of thrown down, which is nothing more than an air filter, but we can discuss about what's up there and how to air seal and insulate properly. So I think that is probably your biggest priority in this home, in terms of capping this house off, you know. So you've done some nice air sealing on the rim joist down below. We did see some air coming in, but we identified it again down by your hot water maker and everything.
Yeah, and that's something that I could handle
Right.
myself with a little bit of help from you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we can help you. So we got a few things, you know, I can give you a hand with. So we got some relatively minor air sealing in terms of recessed lights and some of these exhaust pipes and everything. So I say the biggest thing that we need to pay attention to is probably the attic area. So
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, because I don't have my cap.
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty well sealed down below, but no cap. And
Yeah,
it's just,
you've got pretty good boots on, a pretty good winter coat on, but you need some attention on that winter cap of yours.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But
Well, thanks again for
Sure.
coming, Doug. It was really great to walk around with you and learn about it. And I really hope that everyone at home has learned a little bit about how important having a professional come in and walk through your house with you and really find those trouble spots so you can zero in on using your energy dollars in the wisest way to tighten up your home. And I'll see you next week on Energy Matters.